This is the first exercise. The takeaway should be the use of templates and the setup for a project. So starting with a new project, browsing to find an appropriate template, using the default. That's actually the same as the architectural, so going straight to project architectural template and starting a project is exactly the same thing as doing it this way. The point to make would be that an office typically has its own customized template, so if you go visit an office or talk to them about working there, you probably want to ask them, do you have your own Revit templates? Study the new project, and then what he wants to show is that there are some settings that you can get from the Manage tab. First thing is the project units. Again, these are settings that are already in the architectural template where you're saying feet and inches. And this is not something you do typically on starting every new project. This is something you're doing really to customize a template. The roundup, setting that is just to control the reporting of dimensions when you see temporary dimensions. I've been quite happy with not changing either of these, just using the architectural template. Snaps. The idea here is that depending on your zoom factor, so how close you are to a project, you can set a number of sizes, and then if you're zoomed out, a great distance from the project, you'll see some kind of snapping of your cursor at 5-foot intervals. At closer spacing, you'll see it as 2'6" and so on, but you don't know when it's going to switch from one to the other. It's kind of an idea along the lines of using maybe AutoCAD and snapping to grid sizes, but it's not really terribly practical in drafting to go and change the distances that Revit is going to use as snap distances when you're zoomed out. You don't really draft that way. Turning on and off the object snaps, again, in theory it reduces the amount of time when you're looking for things, but if you have them all switched on and you know that you can type in SM or whatever it is that you're looking for and find it, that works just as well. This is an important one. Temporary dimensions. The temporary dimensions are by default are going to show up to the center line of walls and the center line of openings. But in reality, there are probably more conditions where what you want is face of wall or face of core and the end of openings. So setting it this way kind of assumes that everything is new construction, and what he's doing is measuring everything from the center of a wall and to the center of doors and the center of windows. You save it and call it apartment, and what's not being shown here is the option where you can go down and say just keep 3 backups, not 20 backups. And we're just going to call it apartment, and we could work on this kind of going forward as the beginnings of our project. And he has 2 other projects, but we're only going to do the apartment start to finish. Where needed, what I'll do is we'll put in like curtain walls and other objects that occur in the other projects, but to do it all within our working apartment.